and I want to share with you some of my experience with what I'm calling just a 12-string mandolin. That helps people understand it a bit faster if I tell them it's a 12-string mandolin, and then they kind of think, oh, 12 strings, and I say, oh yeah, it's like a guitar. You can call it a guitar mandolin, but it's more, I think, accurately described as a 12-string mandolin. Gold Tone makes this instrument. It is absolutely fantastic. Beautiful build quality and materials. It was beautifully, extremely well set up when I received it. It's one of my absolute favorite instruments to play, so from Gold Tone. And these things are not even that expensive. They're quite rare. They are a specialty instrument in that there isn't really a place in our musical culture where you hear that instrument, you hear the name, and you hear it and you think, oh, there's a standard to play that. We all know how to play that with country music or folk or bluegrass. There isn't a widely agreed upon standard. So this is a specialty instrument. And what I love most about it is this sparkle that you get. So the bottom strings here are octave pairs. These are octave, and then these are unison pairs up top. So if I strike closer to the bridge, you get a nice bright sound, which is good for leads, and if you're doing, a tremolo. It's quite bright, nice and strident. But you can also get quite softer over the fretboard. So there's your timbral range there. So my experience with this instrument is that it is such a delight to play, but as a mandolin player, it's very confusing for me, because when I feel the mandolin scale length, I naturally want to play using my mandolin muscle memory, which does not work. So it really confuses my brain. So it takes a while to switch gears a little bit. It is tuned like a guitar, but an octave up. So E, A, D, G, B, E. So what's great about this is that guitar players can achieve the real mandolin sound. This is a real mandolin sound without having to learn the mandolin. I know of guitar players that have tried to learn mandolin, and it was just too difficult because their muscle memory and everything that they understand about playing is so deeply connected to playing the guitar that it's been very difficult for guitar players to learn the mandolin. But they want to be able to play, some more variety. So Gold Tone makes a 6-string version of this instrument, which I would recommend. If you are a guitarist and you want the mandolin sound, I would recommend the 6-string version over the 12-string, because this requires quite a bit of pressure in order to fret. And if you are doing your bar chords, like if you're doing your F or your B chords or any other bar chord anywhere, it's going to be very difficult. And that is because the spacing on the fingerboard is very short. It is an octave up, and that means that there's a fair bit of pressure that you have to push down, and you're not going to be able to play a full set on this. And it is a challenge when you have to bunch up your fingers a bit. So you can't entirely rely on your guitar muscle memory, but your knowledge of guitar chords and navigating the fretboard will allow you to play the mandolin without having to learn the mandolin tuning. So this is not a review. I just want to share my thoughts on using and playing the instrument. This pairs very well as playing counterpoint, and not necessarily taking the role of a rhythm instrument, because it has so much more bite and so much more presence because it is in a higher register. So it's, the pitch is higher. It's an octave up from a guitar, and it can overpower other instruments pretty quickly. Not just in terms of presence, but it can be quite noisy once you start bashing out chords on it. So I wouldn't necessarily, go crazy and chord bash on that. But you can say, for example, play on 1s and 3s or 2s and 4s, where you can sort of roll through. And you can really contribute to the overall sound. This is an excellent instrument to play in an ensemble if you're with a couple of other instruments. If you are performers, if you do gigs, if you play with music clubs, as I do, this is something that really adds a sparkle to the mix. And for musicians that have been playing for a long time, it puts this sort of sense of wonder and a sparkle in their eye when they see that and they see me playing it, and then they kind of, after we're done playing, they sort of take me aside a bit and they say, "Hey man, can I try that?" You know, and it's really great being able to share excitement with other instruments. And I let most of the mandolin players that I know also play guitar. But this has a sound that the mandolin does not have. It is not something that the mandolin can do. It is not something that guitar can do. You can say, why wouldn't you put a capo on, the 12th fret of a 12-string guitar? You're not going to get the same voice. You're not going to get the same attack, and that is, of course, because the shape of the mandolin body is arched, and you have the downward pressure on the strings as opposed to the leverage pressure that you get on a guitar, and that gives it this nice bright attack. And that configuration is what contributes to that bright sparkling attack with less sustain. So you can put a capo on fret 12 on a 12-string banjo, but it's nowhere close to what this can do. If you do that on a guitar as well, these strings are going to be much lighter tension. You'll get a sloppier sound if you try to tremolo it that way. And just, for example, I'll just play just a standard mandolin. For a second, my brain started switching back into mandolin as I was playing it just then. Because of the octave pairs on it and the wider distribution of the tones that you're playing, you get that nice deeper sound because you are playing over a wider range. Your tones are much more widely distributed. But you can see you do get that nice bright attack, which is very true to the mandolin sound. So you can see it has this warmth to it, and if you play closer to the bridge here, you can get the sparkle as well. Anyway, I could jam all night long. Honestly, I started just checking out there and jamming a little bit. So I hope that was interesting to you. Again, this is not a review. I just wanted to share some thoughts with you. If this is something that seems like you would enjoy playing this, not just sitting around, I think it's a shame if you're sort of a living room musician. I would say maybe this might not be ideal for you, because this is something that doesn't fill the same role as other instruments. You're not going to accompany yourself with this because it will drown out your voice if you try to use this as an accompaniment instrument in lieu of a guitar. It doesn't necessarily have the dexterity of the mandolin, because you won't be able to play mandolin and fiddle tunes, so the dexterity is very different from that respect. It still doesn't quite have the bright sparkle of the mandolins, because the mandolin still has higher tension on the strings, but this is extremely close and it has a very genuine mandolin sound, but it really stands on its own. It's so different from a mandolin, and it's so different from a guitar, that if you are a performing musician, or maybe you have your own home studio and you do recording, this is something that is just so much fun. It's so fantastic, and it really has its own place in your arsenal of instruments. I'm having so much fun playing this instrument, And if you have seen this and you're wondering if you should pick it up, again, this is not a review. This isn't an endorsement. I'm just sharing my personal experiences and thoughts with you. I absolutely love this instrument. I am working on a review, but I'm also currently creating a new format for my reviews, so my reviews can be more informative and more organized. And that's why I haven't done my video review for this. And I haven't been doing reviews lately as well, as I'm just waiting until I finish creating my new format for reviews, because I want to make it more informational and more organized. So we're at the end of the video, so I am going to ask you for a favor, and that favor is, please, if I ever start talking like a YouTuber, I need you guys to go into the comments and tell me, because the last thing I want is to become a YouTuber. And you know, when you watch someone on YouTube for a while and then they start out, you know, just talking naturally and normally, 2 years later, you start watching the videos and then they talk, they have the YouTube voice, they have the YouTube accent, the cadence, and they don't talk like a real person anymore. And it's like beyond being computerized. It's so artificial and ridiculous. So please, I'm asking you for your help. I need you to do me a favor. If I ever start talking like a YouTuber, please tell me in the comments so I can just do a reality check. I can slow down and say, all right, I'm accidentally talking like a YouTuber. I need to just dial it back a little bit. All right. I hope this was interesting to you. Take care. If you'd like to see more of this, please let me know. I'm currently using it in my soundtracks for work that I'm composing. So take care of yourselves. Hope you have a great holiday season. Be safe out there with all of your driving. But I'll keep creating new videos every day. So come home again soon.